Hey guys, Phil here, hope you're all well. What you're looking at in front of you is very poorly Commodore Amiga 600. Now I'll tell you the backstory with this. I got it pretty cheap off eBay and it was sold as a black screen, and I thought, you know what, I'll take a punt on it. And when I got it, there was something rattling inside. And yeah, it's not good. Now when these black screen, it's normally the capacitors that go bad. There's a capacitor on the reset circuitry that goes bad, and it basically keeps the computer in a reset loop. But yeah, like I said, I got this and there was something rattling inside, so I was like, okay, I'll check that out before I switch it on. I don't want to switch it on and there's something rattling around inside. So I took the lid off, and the first thing I noticed was there's no top shield on this Amiga 600. Now that's not uncommon. Some Amiga 600s were sold without their top shield, but this one looks like there was a top shield on there, because there's metal prongs that get bent over when you put the shield in, and they look like they've been bent before, so it looks like someone's been in there. Now the thing that was rattling round, I'll show you just here. If I put it there, hopefully you can see that. That is one of the electrolytic capacitors was actually fallen off and well, basically corroded off. It's corroded itself off the board. Now it's pretty bad in this Amiga 600. The corrosion is pretty bad. If you've been following me on Twitter, you'll see a few images I posted of the corrosion in this thing. So yeah, it's going to take me a fair while to go through this thing and get it hopefully up and running again. I'll try my best. But yeah, like I said guys, this is probably going to be a vlog video, because you know it's going to take me a lot of time to go through this, and there's no way I'm going to be able to film it all. The video will be about 8 hours long. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get in this and I'll show you that really bad corrosion where those capacitors are leaked. Some of them have actually fallen off the board since. You know, I just touched them and wobbled them a little bit and they just fell off. But yeah, anyway, I'll get inside this and show you that corrosion. So I'm inside the Amiga 600. Now the worst part is around this area just here. This is the video area, and hopefully you can see if we look here, there's really bad corrosion where the capacitor has just literally fell off the board. They're that bad corroded. You can see just on this metal can just here the corrosion. If you look at these power resistors just up here, you can see some black scorching marks. We've got a little bit of corrosion going here, and if we look at the reset capacitor just here, you can see there's corrosion there. Yeah, this thing's not looking too good guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this motherboard out of its shell. I'll take the metal shield off as well, and then I can get working on the Amiga 600, because first I want to remove every single electrolytic capacitor off this thing, and then I've got to do some cleanup. That's the Amiga 600's motherboard out of its case. What I want to do now is spend 5 minutes removing the keyboard connector and these two audio phono jacks. The reason for that is it just makes it easier getting to these two capacitors that Commodore decided to bury under there. So yeah, I'll fire up my desoldering station and I'll get those things off the board. Okay, that's the keyboard connector removed and the left and right audio phono. Allows me to get to the surface mount capacitors and have a look, see how they're faring. The one on the left doesn't look too bad, but you can just see the one on the right starting to dull a little. Also as well, removing the keyboard connector allows me to see underneath to see if there's any corrosion underneath, and it doesn't look like there is any, so we might have dodged the bullet there. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to spend 5 minutes. You can probably still hear my desoldering gun. I'm just going to get through, I'm just going to remove all the through hole capacitors that are on this board. So I'll crack on with that and then come back. That's all the through hole capacitors removed. As you can see, they've all gone now. What I want to do now is remove all the surface mount electrolytic capacitors. Now that's all the horrible electrolytic capacitors removed. You can see the extent now to the corrosion. Now I did lose a pad, this top one just here, but I should be able to fix that. And what I'm going to do now is start cleaning this thing up. Everything has been cleaned, all the capacitors removed. It's all been cleaned up, as you can see. I've gone around doing continuity checks also. I fixed a few traces, I'll go through them. There was a busted via, that it comes from here, it goes under, comes along, comes up between this 555 timer and then comes down to this resistor. The via had corroded near this capacitor just here, so I had to connect it using a little bit of Canar wire. I fixed the pad just there, you can see it, using some Canar wire. All I did was got some Canar wire, I did that, and then that created a pad for that there. There was also another via that was corroded, but I managed to salvage it using my fiberglass pen, and I plugged it with some solder, and it's making a connection between the top and the bottom of the board. Every other capacitor cleaned up okay. Everything's continuity checked and everything's good. Obviously I've still got to fix this pad. I don't know how I'm going to do that though. I'll probably do the same like this, but what I'll do is this connects to this pin here, this RF modulator, and I'll probably just, once I get this capacitor in, I might put a bit of hot glue there just to stop it wiggling about, because obviously it's only got this pad to hold on to now. If I turn the board around, you can see the video encoder is looking a lot better. I actually removed it, you didn't see it, I removed it with hot air, cleaned everything up, put it back on, but we were missing a few connections. This capacitor here, which connects to one of the pins in the bottom row just here, it goes through a via. Hopefully you can see that. That had blown out, so what I had to do was put a bit of Canar wire through the via, soldered it to the bottom of the board, and then soldered it to this capacitor just here. So when I put the capacitor in, it will make connection again. And if you look at the second pin, there was a blown via just there as well, and I did the same thing through the board with some Canar wire, soldered it on the opposite side, and then soldered it to this leg, and that should hopefully fix the video encoder. Now, like I said, I've gone through and everything's been continuity checked, so what I can finally start doing now is start putting the capacitors back on this board. You can see all the crap that came off. And as you can see, the system has been fully recapped. Now this is a couple of days later, guys. The reason for that was once I recapped it, I decided, you know what, I'll power it on, give it a quick test, and it was still giving out a black screen. So I was like, well, okay then, if this capacitor's failed just here, it can send the 555 timer a little bit sketchy. So I was like, oh well, I'll replace the 555 timer as well. I replaced it and it was still giving a black screen. So then I had to fire up my oscilloscope and start tracking down what the issue was, and I started looking at the trigger levels and the threshold levels for the 555 timer, and I pretty much hit it straight away. And what the issue was this ceramic capacitor just here. So I've got an image of that. I'm going to show you what that looked like. So this is what the ceramic capacitor looked like. It looked okay on its top side. Ignore this brown stain here. This is a little bit of burnt flux. But let me show you what I saw on the underside when I desoldered it. Yeah, that's what was waiting for me on the underside of that capacitor, and you can see it's blown out. Now, when I measured this out of circuit, it's supposed to be 100 nanofarads. I measured it at circuit and it was 47 nanofarads, I think. But even worse than that, it was now acting as a resistor, and it had a resistance value of, I think it was 35k. So it, you know, it just stopped acting like a capacitor and it basically turned into a resistor, and you can see that thing doesn't look too good. And I'll show you where that is in the circuit. It's just here, it's C611, and that's in the trigger level for the 555 timer. And like I said, once I fired up my scope, that was pretty much one of the first things I checked, and I could see the trigger level looked sketchy, and that's how I traced it down to this capacitor, which is this ceramic one just here. Now if you take a look at the 555 timer when I replaced it, it looks a bit crooked. Now the reason for that is because I had to trap the wire underneath pin 4 of the 555 timer. So here's the pad, because there's not much pad left, and this is why I did it. Here's the wire, and then here's the actual chip leg, and it's creating a sandwich, and it creates a better joint bond. And you can see what happens. It goes from pin 4, it loops around and goes to pin 8 here, because this is reset and this is the VCC. So yeah, there was a little bit more I had to take care of that. But yeah, that's what the final issue was this capacitor just here had failed. Let's power this thing on and I can show you it booting. Now I wasn't getting any of this before, it was just a black screen. Now the Amiga can take the Amiga 600 can take a little while to boot up, because it's obviously looking for a hard drive, and there isn't one there, so it's and there we go, booted up. So yeah, what I want to do now is get this Amiga back together. I've not even tried the keyboard or anything like that. I've tested the floppy drive, I know that works. I've tried that in my Amiga 500 and it worked fine. So yeah, I'm going to get this Amiga back together and run some tests, see if it's fully working. And we're all back together. Now I've hooked up some peripherals to give the Amiga a better test. I'm going to power on. I'm actually using my foot. Oh, got a squeak from the floppy drive. Just give it a few seconds to boot, because obviously there's no hard drive in there. And there we go, we got a boot. We've got the tick from the drive. Can you hear that? That's a good sign. Okay, I've got a Amiga test kit. Let's pop Amiga test kit into the drive. And there we go, we've got Amiga test kit. So okay, let's do some tests. Let's do a memory test. Oh, well, the F1 key works on the keyboard. So let's do all tests. Now what I'll do, guys, is I'll let this run for a little bit and then come back. As you can see, I've let that memory check go around a number of times and it's not reporting any errors. So yeah, it's not a full-on test, but you know, I'm just giving it a quick test and it looks to be okay. So let's escape from that. Well, the escape key works. Okay, what can we do next? Okay, let's test the keyboard. F2, so the F2 key works. Winner, winner! Keyboard works. Obviously we don't have the extension keys because it's obviously a 600. But yeah, every single key's working. Oh, I'm so happy. Don't have to buy a new membrane. Get in there. Okay, let's get out of that. So I need that and that. Come on. Just do it with a mouse, sod it. Let's have a look at the floppy drive. Now I already know this works, but I might as well let this go and see if it can read the full disk. So what is it, F6? I'll just let this go, guys, and then come back. And there we go, it read the disk perfectly fine, so the floppy drive's okay. Let's come out of that. Let's test the audio next. Okay, let's turn off the channels and let's try left channel 0. That sounds okay. Turn that off. Right channel 1. Sounds okay. Let's go right channel 2. Sounds okay. Let's go left channel 3. Sounds okay. Now let's change to sine wave, which is 5, and let's do the same again. Sounds okay. That sounds okay. That sounds okay. And that sounds okay. Let's go back to the music. There, let's turn on all the channels. Oops, sorry, wrong one. And let's see if the filter's working. Yeah, and I can hear the difference. And you can tell if you look at the power button, it will illuminate brighter. And then once I turn it off, so yeah, the filter's working. So that's the audio side of the Amiga working fine. Let's test the video. Obviously we've got video because we're looking at this and that looks fine. So F2. Now you can see the banding, you get that. This is this TV, it's crap. I tried out on other TVs and it looks perfectly fine. So this is caused by this TV. If you go and check my Amiga 1200 video, you'll see the exact same thing, and it's just this TV, it's a pile of crap. So that's okay. Let's test the CIAs. Let's do the test on that. And all tests passed. Let's do the peripheral ports. Oh no, sorry, wrong one. Where are the controller ports? That's what I want. I missed that test. Mouse is working, we can see left and right buttons working. Let's try my rewired Mega Drive. Guys, this is a rewired Mega Drive. This is not a standard Mega Drive controller. Don't be plugging a a Mega Drive controller into the Amiga, you'll blow up your Amiga. If you want to see how I rewired this, I'll put a link in the video below. But let's have a look. So if we go up, down, left and right, we've got that. We've got all the buttons. We don't have button 3, but that's okay. But yeah, so yeah guys, it looks like we've got a fully working Amiga. I've not tested serial and port on the back, but I can't see why that's not going to work. If everything else is working fine, there's no reason why that shouldn't work. So yeah, it looks like we've got this thing working again. I'm just happy the keyboard works. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is pop a game in this thing and I can wrap up the video. Let's power on and we'll boot a game. Take a few seconds to boot because obviously there's no hard drive, which I might put in there, I don't know. I might get the memory expansion as well and put an hard drive in this thing and be able to load games from WHD load. So I've got my favourite and everybody else's favourite, Turrican. Let's pop that into the drive and hopefully we get a bit of Turrican. We don't want trainers. I'm surprised how quiet that drive is. It really is quiet. It's not very loud. So I'm probably going to do a second video to this where I strip it down. Strip down the keyboard, get the keyboard a good clean in. I'll clean the case and I'll resurface the floppy drive as well. I don't think it will mean much doing to it with it being so quiet. It sounds great. I can't believe it's just fired straight back up like nothing had happened. Because when I saw how bad those capacitors were, I was like, no, there's no saving this. This thing's gone. But yeah, there you go, guys. Turrican. And the system is working great. So yeah, hope you liked this video, guys. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, it's a winner, winner. So glad it works. I really didn't think it was going to work, guys. Catch you next time, guys.